All right, everyone, going to be jumping into the top prop bets here for this Wednesday. But first, let's get into a quick recap of yesterday. So guys, just looking at a recap from yesterday, the one that I gave out in this NBA specific video hit so far. There's two other attached to that as well. But really the two that stood out, MPJ for over 21 points, rebounds, and assists, and on FanDuel, or sorry, on Underdog. I'm not doing the FanDuel stuff again this video. It was set at 20.5, so that was an easy one. And then really the one that I thought was just such a cheap value, and this was at halftime I did this screenshot. Yusuf Nurk for over 21.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Heck, I was telling you guys like 2 weeks ago when the lines first dropped at 23.5 to be betting the over there as well. That was pretty much sweat free. And then I did mess up yesterday. I realized this. I fat fingered less. It worked out. But full disclosure, if you guys are someone that looks at the bet of the day record in the link in the description, or just in the description below, I am not going to be including that just because I did mess up that. It was supposed to be over. He had a 54% chance to get over 13.5 points. So yeah, I am just Xing this off. I'm not going to count it just because I'm assuming that's what a lot of people had done, just because they saw this and they also heard me talking about it. Wasn't exactly 100% as to what to do. But other than that, you know, Jamal Murray under fantasy points hit as expected. Reeves had freaking 2 steals and 8 rebounds. That was kind of crazy. He got his over fantasy points, and then all the other ones hit as expected. So another very good day, another very profitable Taco Tuesday. And if you guys used the Curry free square as well, very successful there. Awesome day yesterday. Let's hope we can do that again today. Let's go in and get to some NBA prop. All right, so I do just want to apologize to anyone that was trying to load the cheat sheet this morning. I was working on some updates through it, trying to work on some refresh times just with the 12-game slate. It was kind of forcing me to do that. So apologies to anyone that was jumping in there and, you know, trying to use it this morning. Should be good to go now. There's always little small things like that at the start of a season as well. But looking at right now, we are getting as kind of expected. This is typically what we see about NBA. This is why I like NBA. This is why the bet of the day record was at 60% of the props hitting last year. Now it's down to 59%. Not a big deal there. Still well over the 54% rate that you need to have a profitable long-term bankroll. But looking at it right now, let's just go through it. So we got DeAndre Hunter for under fantasy points. Vegas is kind of favoring the under there pretty heavily at 23.7. We can see PrizePicks currently has the line set at 23.5. A lot of you guys probably don't know this, but I'm going to be doing a lot of NBA DFS coverage for Occupy Fantasy. So I'm just going to be using their model for this right now. And just looking at the projected minutes for DeAndre Hunter, that's going to be the worry, is that he's projected to get 32 minutes. And that's really what I'm trying to look at here. So I don't know if we exactly want to roll with that. The other one in that game is actually Murray, which obviously is going to be someone that's projected to get a lot of minutes, 34.8. So when we see that his projected fantasy score is at 36, if he's getting 38 minutes, especially in this matchup, we'll look at the matchup and like his points, rebounds, and assists is at 31. At 36.5, that's not that big of a bump there for him. And I'm so sick of PrizePicks screen bouncing. It is super frustrating. That's part of the reason as to why that Russell error occurred. Sorry. But looking at Murray, he played pretty well in the preseason. I know we're not looking at the minutes here specifically, but he had a good preseason. Good matchup against Charlotte. He is someone that you expect to be able to go out and have a good game. Okay, really dominating the playoffs last year as well. Look at Charlotte last year, 34 DraftKings points in that game, which is slightly under what we need, but basically right there. Another game, 36, and then 39. So he's going to give us a good chance at that over. Now we continue on. Miles Turner for under fantasy points. I don't know if I really want to touch that. I'm very curious as to how he's going to look this season. It's kind of a different unit that they have going in Indy, so I don't know if I want to touch that. I do find this little stacking opportunity to be extremely interesting. So we got Spencer Dinwiddie, Ben Simmons, and Max Strus. Oh man, so many names I say on a daily basis. But what I want to do here is just kind of look at that game. So it is a lower scoring game, that Cleveland versus Brooklyn game, but it is going to be a close game. So in terms of stacking, at least we have that. We don't really have to worry about a blowout. And if we're stacking on both sides of that, I like the fact that it's supposed to be a close game. So we're going to see that we could easily bet Spencer Dinwiddie over. I think that this one is going to be a very good prop just in general. Like, this is probably one I want to be rolling with regardless. And part of the reason as to why is we look at the Brooklyn Nets from last year. Like, they were a team that really was minutes heavy, like getting 38 minutes, 40 minutes even. Like, that wouldn't be too shocking. We look against Cleveland, that can be a tougher matchup, but he was someone that had really good games against them last year. If I go ahead and look at his projected minutes, we're going to see that's at 31.2. I would say that's probably too low. Now the question is that because of Simmons coming in there, or it's just early season data coming in there? Ben Simmons projected at 27.5. That could potentially take away from, I guess, Dinwiddie's minutes, but I'm going to assume he's going to get more than that. I'm going to assume he's going to have closer to the 36 minutes that he had last season. And so if that occurs, we can say that this is a point per minute type prop. The projection data doesn't like it as much as the sportsbooks data, and we can see that the fantasy score is the highest of the bunch, but really Vegas is telling us to be betting the over at basically 34 with about a 54% chance to hit. Now, Ben Simmons, I don't know if I want to trust this. I do want to call it that Ben Simmons. I need to confirm. I need to look this up, and I probably should do it right now, but I'm pretty sure he is in a contract. And I remember the talk last season on the starting lineup. I don't know if you guys anyone watches that or listens to that show on XM Radio with White Mamba, Brian Scalabrine, and Frank Isola. It's a great listen. I love listening to that. I've literally kept my XM subscription for years because of that show solely. It's just a fun listen. But they had a segment about Ben Simmons. It's like, yeah, he sucks this year. He's just not trying. Like, he's sitting out these games the previous years. He's going to come back next year and have a borderline all-star season, because he needs to get paid to stay in the league. And we might be seeing that. Like, I wouldn't be shocked, I guess, if that occurs. If he is someone that is going to be playing around 30 minutes and he gets 8 rebounds, 8 assists, 6 points, 2 steals, 1 block, like, that is certainly within the realm of possibilities. Heck, he could get a double-double tonight. It wouldn't be shocking. So if we are stacking this game, if we're saying that this game is going to stay close, I don't mind that, including that with Spencer Dinwiddie. And then we got just running it back with the best prop that we have. Projection data, once again, doesn't like this over as much, but we can see the average sportsbook line is favoring the over at 19.5, so not bad there. And then we get into our first one, the Drew Holiday rebounds prop at 4.5. I don't know if I like this one. I kind of mentioned this one yesterday, I believe, or maybe it was his assist prop. We don't know exactly what to expect from this Boston Celtics squad just yet. And I don't think we'll know for sure until really a month into the season once they start to gel. I remember last year at this time, there's a bunch of panic for Celtics fans. There's talk about even trading Jaylen Brown. So will Drew Holiday be the number 2? Will he fall back into kind of a more dormant role, if you will, which is kind of what he did with the Bucks when Giannis and Middleton were healthy and Brook Lopez and Bobby Portis were playing so well? That could easily occur with the Celtics. Kyle Kuzma under fantasy score. I don't know if I agree with that, but also it's kind of like D'Angelo Russell, where very much shot shooting emphasis on that. Like, if he's cold, he's not going to get there. If he's hot, he's probably going to crush that over. Then we get into some ones that I do kind of like. So if you guys watched yesterday's video, I was very high on Markelle Fultz in general and Isaiah Stewart. Like, if I go into the points, rebounds, and assists, which is something that I like, Markelle Fultz at 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists is something that I really like. We look at these games in the preseason, and I'm so frustrated at this screen bouncing. We look at that, though, and he was someone that on a per minute basis, based off his projected minutes, which is about to be 30, then he should be able to get that over. Now, we look at something like his rebounds, or even rebounds and assists. Like, he should be able to crush this over. In limited minutes during the preseason, he was getting there. So you tack on 10 more minutes. It's not that hard to imagine him getting 4 or 5 rebounds in this game, especially in a matchup against Houston. Let's take a peek at that game. I think that's going to be a game that we want to attack a little bit. Now, they might not be as high paced or as high scoring as they were in the past. Houston, let's see though. Yeah, that game's not projected to be that high scoring. You know, in the past, like, anytime the Houston Rockets were on a slate, it was typically a higher scoring game, at least when they're healthy. We're not seeing that in this one, but I do still think we're going to see a higher pace, which to me means we're going to see a higher likelihood of rebounds. So Markelle Fultz over 3.5 rebounds, I do agree with. And let me look at Isaiah Stewart. I don't really get this. I know it's the matchup. I mentioned this a lot yesterday. He's coming in very low. So points, rebounds, and assists, I really like at 16.5. I actually like fantasy score as well. I think he has a great chance to get this over as well. He's someone that can get blocks. He's someone that can get steals. He is just productive. And so if we're really trying to gear up for a fantasy score prop, it'll probably be this one. This is a prop that wasn't available when I refreshed the data right before this video. But I'm just going to say I really like that one. But we're going to see on the cheat sheet here that Isaiah Stewart for over rebounds and assists at 7.5 is one of the better ones that's popping up. He could get there in just rebounds. He's been getting a couple assists in the preseason as well. We can see Underdog is like, nah, it should be at 8. And I'm like, maybe he gets 8 rebounds this game by himself. Now, the matchup with Miami is one of the more difficult ones for bigs. That being said, will it be Jalen Duren that's kind of getting shut down? Will it be both of them? We don't know. I do want to take a peek at their projected minutes for both of them just to make sure. So I'm going to look up Stewart. Actually, let's just look up what the Occupy model has in general for Detroit. So minutes, Stewart projected to get 26.5, which is going to be about 5th on the team. We'll see. Even still, like, he should be able to dominate in that regard. And what's interesting there, I'll pull it up on DraftKings here. What are we seeing here with the pricing? DraftKings values Stewart higher than Duran. And if we look at the props for them, Duran's coming higher in all of them. And once again, I'll say the fantasy score, that's a small difference. 20.5 points, rebounds, and assists to 25.5. That's a very low total, especially with the rebounds being as high as they are. Now, he's not someone that typically gets a lot of assists, but yeah, I like that. At 1.5 blocks and steals as well. Like, that's very low, guys. 9 rebounds, that's about an additional 2 points. You get a block or steal. That's 3 more points, and then you maybe get an assist. You're over that. So not a terrible one there. But continuing on here, Wendell Carter steals. I don't know if I want to touch that. And we're starting to get below like the projected EV bets that we have. So I don't know if I really want to touch those too much. But let's just talk about some fantasy score props that I like as well. And I don't know if you guys have this. I have this today. Make sure to take advantage of that. We have the Wemby on points, rebounds, and assists. Value square that's out there. I know the KD prop didn't hit yesterday, but at the same time, these are typically going to hit. Not a bad one. So because they added in more fantasy score props, I just want to scroll through it myself and see if there's any that are standing out other than Isaiah Stewart. Like I said, I just think he's going to be involved. Don't mind Jalen Duren as well. I know it's a tough matchup. That's the only caution that we have. I'm kind of looking to see if we have any stacking opportunities at all. Yeah, I guess this game could be a fun one to just smash the overs for. Utah versus Sacramento. Okay, Zach Collins. This one's kind of interesting as well. He's someone I do expect to consistently average this over. He's going to be starting for them. And the issue with Zach Collins last year and the issue with all the Spurs last year was it was kind of a youth movement for one. They weren't exactly trying to win, and we don't know if they're exactly trying to win this year as well, but if they are, and we got to make sure Zach Collins is healthy in this one, but if he can get 30 minutes per game, he's going to be able to crush this on a per minute basis as long as he continues to do what he did last year. Because last year, anytime he got close to 30 minutes, he was just crushing this over, and so that's another one that I like. The question then becomes, do we want to roll with Zach Collins at points, rebounds, and assists at 24.5 or at 8.5? I would say, given his ability to get a block or a steal and his ability to get assists, rebounds, I would much rather go with the fantasy score there because I don't think it's accounting for it that much. Like typically with those bigs guys, if it's less than 5 points difference between the fantasy score and the points, rebounds, and assists, as long as the rebounds and assists are over 20, that's a good indication of one that you can go in on. Now, I do just want to take a peek at some other sports that we might have going on today, see if we're getting any good EV bets there. NFL-wise, we do have Tampa Bay versus, is it Buffalo coming up? Is it that? I mean, that doesn't sound right, but I'm sure it is. Yeah, Rashad White for under rushing yards is something that makes sense. It does seem like they're trying to get Keyshawn Vaughn a little bit more involved. Rashad White, I wouldn't say he's looked bad. He's kind of looked like Alexander Madison, where if the play's there, he's going to make it. If the play's not there, he might fall forward for a few more yards. I don't know. I kind of think those two backs are about the same, like not terrible, but not someone you're like going, they're not doing their offensive scheme around him. He's just the guy there, and he probably is their best running back. So we'll see. But yeah, I agree with the under there. James Cook, I actually probably would like for over receiving yards in this game. Dalton Kincaid, receiving yards for is over there. I like as well at 37.5. I don't know. I just think he's gonna have a big game with Dawson Knox. But all those feel like we'd be forcing those. Let's see some college football props. All right. So no real big ones here. For college football tonight, the lines seem to be correct. If you want to bet the unders here, you can. I don't feel the need to do that. We are seeing a slight discrepancy there. We're not going to get any MLB props just yet. Let's take a peek at NHL. And guys, this is something I want to update as soon as I can. For lines like this, specifically with hockey, we see this with passing touchdown props as well. It's just hard for me to write a code or formula for this to push in as a push, to populate as a push rather than under or over. And that's just something I need to figure out on my end. But what I'm saying is the average sportsbook line has it set at 1.5. They're heavily saying he's going to get over 1.5 shots on goal, but they are pretty much telling us based off of that line that he's going to get 2 shots on goal, which is why PrizePicks and Underdog have bumped it up to 2. If that makes sense to you guys. And the reason why it's saying under is because more times than not, it's not going to hit the over. So that's why it's pointed as the under, but really it's a push, just as an FYI. But looking at, we do have one kind of shots on goal prop that we could potentially be looking at here. 57% chance for it to hit. We can see Underdog has already bumped it for Alex Ovechkin to get over 3.5 shots on goal. That's probably a good one. That's probably one we can go ahead and target. Another one here where the projection data is saying 3 and the shots on goal is set at 2.5. So 2 pretty good NHL props as well today. today. And that's probably going to be about it. We'll take a peek at the discrepancies. Any big discrepancies? No, not really, as we can see there. Then lastly, before we get into the bet of the day, do just want to see if we have any good underdog props. Not really. This does seem to be much more of a prize picks day. We have one here where rush yards difference here. That's it. We got one really good underdog prop. Okay. So now let's go on and get to the bet of the day. So this is one bet that I already put out there that I really liked before some of those other fantasy score props were made available. I don't mind this one. I'm going to show you guys an updated bet of the day though, before I get into that. But the reason why I like this one is the stacking opportunity in this game right here with these three. I like that. I do think Zach Collins is going to be someone that's going to really have a good game. And then Murray for over fantasy points. If you want to attach DeAndre Hunter to the under fantasy points in there as well, same team, you could do that. But let's go ahead and show you guys what my updated bet of the day would be. And then I guess just real quickly, this one is another one that just popped in there. That's what I love about NBA is it's always changing throughout the day. Ayton over fantasy points is definitely going to be intriguing to me if he plays. You know, I'm expecting Portland to kind of be a fun spot, kind of like the Brooklyn Nets were last year after they made, their trades, where Ayton, Jeremy Grant, Simons, Simeons, and also like Scoot Henderson are going to be getting heavy minutes. Now, I'm actually curious to see how Malcolm Brogdon fits into that equation because honestly, I don't want to say that. I was going to say he might be their best like per minute player on the team, and he could be. He's just injury prone, and they don't want to build around him, and it just makes sense. He should go to a veteran team, a team that's honestly, you should go to the Bucks. You should go back to the Bucks, help them win a championship or a team like that. But I think we're going to see heavy minutes to the starting five, to that core. And if that occurs, if he does get 36 minutes, to me, it's going to be tough to imagine him not getting this over. And so here's the other one that I'd be running out. Now, I am doing 5 slip bets because I don't know if everyone else has that promo code or I met a qualification for that or whatnot. I'm assuming I did something yesterday playing NBA that gave me a free promo code today. We'll see. But I like this one. Stewart, he's going to make me look bad because this is like Yusuf Nurk. Like if Nurk didn't dominate, I bet half the viewers that are watching this video won't be watching today. That's kind of how I feel about Stewart. It's like, I'm putting the brand at risk by hyping him up as much. But I like the matchup's tough. Yes, he has looked great when he has gotten the minutes. And if he does get 26 or so minutes, it's very difficult for me to imagine him not getting at least 20 for a fantasy score. Now, he could get in a foul trouble. That's probably my biggest worry. Spencer Dinwiddie, we did see that was one of the better props that we were getting on the slate for over fantasy points. Zach Collins, I just think he's a strong point per minute player. Another really good fantasy score prop that we were getting was DeJounte Murray for over 36.5 fantasy score, and then Markelle Fultz for over 3.5 rebounds. Now, I do want to mention those 2 hockey props. I'd be fine putting in there as well Alex Ovechkin for over 3.5 shots on goal, and then Nico for over his shots on goal as well. Definitely fine using those 2 as well. Do want to remind you guys of the promo code that is currently going on the 9to5sports.com website. It's going to be 50% off for first month 9to5 members. Okay, so it's a $10 membership, guys. I already priced it that way as the lowest price I can possible, really. And I always try to add in more and more tools as I can possible. Like if I can add in a new tool for you guys, that's going to be useful. I'm trying to do that. So I try to make it the best value possible because I was someone that hated paying a premium for all these tools when I felt like you didn't need to, and I figured out a way for you guys to not need to pay that much. But use the promo code NBA to get $5 off. So it's a $5 membership for the first month. This is going to be valid for 5 more days. So take advantage of it. And that is for the first month only. But that is going to be all for this video. Make sure to hit the notification bell to not miss out on any EV bets when they're made available. I know we didn't have any really today. I did start the video a little bit later than I was hoping to. Had to troubleshoot a little bit of stuff with the big 12-game slate. But that's going to be all, guys. Thanks for watching. Let's have a good slate. And as always, let's keep cashing.